I'm about halfway through this documentary, and it's got a lot of thoughts and feelings going on. It's a documentary on Amazon Prime called Rewind. And essentially it's this discovery of abuse that had happened to this young boy and his sister when they were young. And this young boy, when he started school, he had did, I guess, a placement test, and he tested off the charts. So they put him in a special, a special class because of his intelligence. And it was shortly after that he was actually struggling in class, and then he was having these behavioral issues, and then they sent him to see a therapist. And the therapist starts suspecting that there is sexual abuse. And at first, the dad was the prime suspect, and as it turns out, it was both the dad's brothers and I guess the dad's nephew, the middle brother's son. And when they would come over to these family functions, they were having this abuse. Well, then come to find out that whenever the dad was told that his brother Howard had, done things to his kids, he said he believed it because he had did that to him when he was a kid. Now, here's the part that I really want to talk about, because as a parent, we want to protect our kids. And when you see something like this documentary, these predators will tell these children that if you tell anyone, I will kill you. And they instill this fear that they will not share what had happened with anyone. And, as a parent, we would never want to allow anything like this to happen to our kid. So that got me thinking, and I had to pause this movie to share this, because part of what I want to talk about, and I want to hear what you guys think, how can we talk to our kids to help ensure that they always feel that they can come and tell us anything? Just the idea of somebody doing something like that to my child, it really gets a lot of emotions going inside of me. And I'm thinking, she's almost 4, so how could I have this kind of conversation with her? Part of me was thinking to explain why we call private parts private, because they're private to you. I don't really know if they're sharing too much with a 4-year-old about these things, but this is also, if someone never touches your private part, if they try to scare you into not telling anyone, I am your protector, and you can always tell me anything. This is kind of the kind of dialogue that's coming in my head, and I'm just wondering, what do other parents think about what is a good way to have this kind of discussion? I feel fortunate, especially with my mom as a kid. I always felt like I could talk to her about anything. I never had that kind of abuse. I did have one time when I was in elementary school. I remember walking to the gas station to fill up a little gas can for the lawnmower, and I remember this man reaches over and opens his passenger door and told me to get in, and I just said no and ran. And then I do remember there was another time that there was a young boy. I think he was a year or two older than me and my brother, and he lived across the street. And one time we were playing that operation game where you take the little bone or whatever, the little parts of the body out of the game. And after we were done playing, he jumped up in his bed and got under his covers and was saying, "Let's play doctor." And I lifted the covers up, and he had a boner, and that was weird to me. So me and my brother ran out of that house real fast. I feel fortunate that I've never been abused like that, but I had those, I guess you could say, some close encounters with people. And then I actually had brought that story up to my mom, and she told me, I think, unless I'm misremembering this, I think my mom told me that he had been abused as a kid. Either that, he was just known to be like a weird kid, but either way, kind of going back to this documentary that I'm watching, I think those kids have been abused, and then those kids became abusers as they became adults. And all I can think about is, how can we have discussions with our young children for them to feel safe to tell us anything? So that's where I'm at. My brain is racing right now with all kinds of thoughts and feelings, and just, with all this pedophilia talk and the sex trafficking. This has obviously been on my mind a lot recently, and then here I am seeing this documentary, and when I'm looking over, I'm looking at my TV. Excuse me. It's just been something that's on my mind, and I want to protect my child. And then to hear about the fear that was instilled in that child to not say anything, and to see how it affected his life, and then to see that kid as an adult, going through all these old family videos, discussing these things with his parents, and all these things that they went through. It breaks my heart to see that. And I think that we need to be able to have these kind of conversations with our children, so that they know that they're always safe with their parents, and maybe it's a parent that's an abuser. So, I guess, how do we let our kids know that it's safe to go ask for help? It's safe to go tell somebody if someone's doing something that they shouldn't be. So please, let's get some dialogue going about this. I think this is an important topic, and I just want to know that my daughter will always feel safe to be able to come talk to me, because I do want to protect her, and I know that any of my friends that are parents would want the same. So please put in the comments, how do you think, or what do you think is the best way to have this conversation with the kid? Are there metaphors you think we should use? Do we open up and be direct, without going into maybe grave detail of the touchings and things? I don't know. I think it's maybe, my mind keeps going back to talking about why we call it a private part, because it's private, and that no one's allowed to touch that. It's private to them, and to them only. Let me know what you think. Let's get some dialogue. Post your comments, and let's make sure we're having these discussions with our kids, so that we can be the protectors that we want to be. This has got a lot going on. Part of me wants to cry, part of me wants to yell right now, for this guy that's in this documentary. So let me know what you think. Cheers.